mindset, uplift, manifest, momentum mindset, uplift, manifest, momentum mindset, uplift, manifest. It is Friday, February 26, 2021. You are running with the Runners Live. My name's Michael Tharp. As always, I got my brother Ricardo Hamilton here. We are going to try to break down all the craziness that's going on this week in the markets and the government. Ricardo, are you ready to bring the truth to the people tonight?
Yeah, man, I'm ready. I'm ready, man. It's always a lot to talk about. Every day is something new. And, man, we got a show for you guys today. We definitely got some information, some things we want to show you.
And, I mean, there's so much going on. But let's just start with this, Ricardo, because what we're going to cover today is the massive amount of debt that has been created in 2020. So we have here, this is from CNBC today, House set to approve Biden's $1.9 trillion stimulus package and send the bill to the Senate, which is controlled by the Democrats, so I don't see it not passing. Direct payments, jobless benefits, and Ricardo and I just looked at this. We got $400 per week unemployment assistance, $1,400 direct payments to most Americans, and the same sum for dependents. So that means a family of four, mom, dad, two kids, will get about $5,800 from what I'm looking at. You know, more money to schools, what's a couple $100 billion more? Increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2025. So Ricardo, your take on just more massive money creating, and we're going to cover what's already been done, but this is, just more historic. Go for it, man. I mean, I didn't know what to say anymore.
Yeah. Well, they say the hand that feeds you is the hand, and they can take it away at the same time. It's that, they want people relying on the government, and the UBI is coming. They talk about universal basic income. They're setting it up to where Americans are going to be used to getting some kind of stimulus or assistance from the government. And at some point, that's going to be used as a form of control, the same way food is, And, what they don't talk about is, once again, which we talk about, is how all this massive money printing is getting paid for. Who's paying for this? There is no such thing as a free lunch. There's no such thing as a free ride. Who's paying for it? And then when people realize, well, they're paying for it through inflation, okay? They're paying for it through taxation, right? And so now, it's going to get worse, because the reason that they got to do this stimulus is because they shut down the whole economy. But interestingly enough, when they shut down the economy, they tried to blame it on the coronavirus, right? But before the coronavirus came on the scene, the bond market was already signaling that we were coming up on another recession, that we were coming up on another financial crisis. This is before the coronavirus hit. The bond market was already giving that signal. And now we have the coronavirus, which gives them the ability to do things that they never would have been able to do before. Print trillions of dollars, bailing out banks, bailing out countries, bailing out corporations. I mean, bailing out everybody, while at the same time buying everything up. The Federal Reserve's balance sheet is, they say ballooning. Okay, they're taking all the real assets and putting them on their balance sheet, and they're continuing to take away from the security of the dollar, and they're putting people in a position where they're going to be subject to whatever the government has, because they have no economic power or stimulus to be able to provide for themselves. So, it's not good, but in the short term, people say, hey, we need it. Some people need it, but you do have to understand that down the line, somebody's going to pay for it, and it will be the people.
Yeah, and the old saying of never let a crisis go to waste. And I've kind of changed politically at this point. I'm like, go ahead and print it. Go ahead and create it all. Just give everyone $1 million at this point. What difference does it make? The key though is, guys, what are you going to do with this? That's why we're so big on assets over liabilities. Because if you're getting assets right now, as they're increasing the amount of dollars there are, you're going to win in the end. If you're just spending it, I'm scared to see where you're going to end up.
And that's a great point. I've seen some posts where, you know, the last stimulus that they got for $1,200, if people had put that into Bitcoin, it'd be over $10,000 today. You know, because of that meteoric rise that Bitcoin, you know, just went through. You know, but that's a very good point, Mike. People need to stay in that mindset of accumulating assets right now, transferring that paper into silver and crypto and gold, okay, while you still can, and build wealth, because otherwise you're going to continue to need that handout from the government if you don't create a residual income. It's just like on the last show last night. You know, somebody asked, I got $1,000. What should I do with it right now? Right? Well, people are getting stimulus checks right now, direct payments. What they should be doing, in my opinion, is putting themselves in position to create cash flow and residual income. Okay. I know most people are looking for that get rich quick. Let me put my money over here, and in 3 to 6 months, you know, I never have to worry about money again. Well, it doesn't work like that. Now, are we in a type of environment where people will create wealth and increase their financial position from acquiring certain assets? Yes, but like you say, Mike, you know, cryptocurrency, gold and silver is not going to make you rich. It's about your mindset and understanding what to do when you have the resources and how to allocate them to the proper areas where they're going to secure your financial future. But the best thing that I would say people should do is put themselves in position to create a residual income and cash flow so you don't have to rely on the stimulus check.
Without a doubt. So this was kind of a down week for the markets all around. Gold is falling quite a bit, down to 1733, down 2.39% today. And silver got hammered today. The banks came in with massive liquidity and shorted it. So it went down 3.54% to 26.66. And guys, does this make any sense? Like, ask yourself the question. They're getting ready to print almost another $2 trillion, and gold and silver go down on a Friday. When, and we can't get into this too much, but just so you guys are aware and we're keeping you informed, you know, we're not going to try to explain bond rates and interest rates right now. But I was at a network lunch today, and one of the guys was a loan manager, and he said they lost 100 basis points today. So what that means is interest rates are going to go up on housing. So that means money's becoming more expensive. It's not as cheap to borrow. That could affect, you know, the housing market. It could start to affect other loans, people not borrowing. So that could stop kind of the growth of the economy coming out of this pandemic shutdown. So again, lots of things to keep in mind. When it comes to crypto, Bitcoin at 47.8 thousand. We got the market cap just under 1.5 trillion. You know, for the most part, crypto is kind of going down this week, other than a few ones that stick out. So Cardano, they have a mainnet coming up called Goguen, that if that launches, they're going to put in some competition to Ethereum. So people are buying up Cardano now around $1. It was up 34% this week. Polkadot up 9% today. And other than that, you know, Uniswap was 21% this week. There hasn't been any really big movers. Solana, one of my favorite projects, has came back down to 14. So like I told Ricardo, you know, I like that buy. Theta's still above $3. So, you know, you gotta roll with the punches when it comes to crypto. But the main thing we want to show you guys today is from demonocracy.info. How much money printed in 2020? So I'm going to pull out here just at the beginning to start it, okay? The 10 plus trillion 2020 economic stimulus by the Federal Reserve. So we start off with 100, 10,000. This is what $1 million looks like. This is $100 million. And $100 million is 1 year of work for 3,500 average Americans. So you can see right there, that pile of cash is what all of these people would earn in a year. This is $1 billion, which is, it's a lot of pallets. You can see the size of the people standing there. That's 1 billion. 27 billion average printed per day. So 27 of these per day in 2020 were created of printed cash. This is what $1 trillion looks like in front of the White House and Mack trucks and airplanes. And this fact here, Ricardo, always blows my mind. If you spent $1 million a day since Jesus was born, you still would have not spent $1 trillion by now. That just blows my mind that you can spend $1 million a day for the last 2021 years, and you still wouldn't have spent $1 trillion. So now we have the 2022 trillion emergency stimulus package by the U.S. government. And again, guys, you can see it just stretched out here in front of the Capitol, where it's going. Unemployment insurance, airlines, it just keeps going. This is just more of the bailout list of the bank buildings and what it looks like. So I think we're finally, okay, yeah, this is the part where I wanted to get Ricardo's take. So let me read a couple of these and I want to get your take on this, Ricardo. 10.5 trillion is over 30% of the U.S. GDP and more than twice the U.S. government yearly budget. 10 trillion is more than twice the M1 money supply. Cash and bank accounts deposits at 4 trillion to end 2020. 10 trillion is $30,500 for each person in the USA. Did you get your share? We know corporations and banks will get theirs. So 10 trillion would have been enough to give $30,000 to every person in the United States. And, I think we maybe got a couple thousand this year. So Ricardo, what do people need to know when they see this massive amount of debt creation?
Well, it just comes to my mind, one word: unsustainable. Totally unsustainable. It can't continue in perpetuity forever, just, printing massive amounts of debt and the value of the dollar continuing to be, where it is, and the world accepting it for value. It's totally an unsustainable situation. And it's like it says, what is the end game? Eventually, it's hyperinflation. I mean, it's going to get there. Nobody knows the time. But the whole thing is that, folks, this is nothing new, really. It's just on a global scale. It's something that the world has never seen before. Inflation, hyperinflation, massive money printing, devaluation of the currency. It's nothing new. All fiat currencies go through this cycle. And we're seeing the end of this cycle here with the US dollar, the number one fiat currency, weapon of mass destruction, quite frankly, in the world. And you're seeing them trying to sustain and keep it going, but we're seeing the cracks. People are waking up. And this is why it's so important that we tell people you need to exchange your paper for assets. You have to get physical silver. You have to get physical gold. You have to acquire certain cryptocurrency assets because there are new forms of payment. There are new forms of money. And you can see, these images, I mean, just mind blowing when you realize all this paper. And it talked about, $30,000 per person in the US. Did you get your share? But, the banks did and the corporations did. Well, it's confiscation of wealth, folks. That's been the design of the system from the beginning. Once the Federal Reserve got set up, it was to confiscate the wealth of this nation and its people, right? Into the hands of a small collective. And at this rate, they're succeeding, right? But there's another side to this. And this is why we get excited, because we know what's going on. We know their game plan. We know where it ultimately ends. And there's a great opportunity in that for those who are woke and exchanging their paper for these assets. So, I mean, 30,000, man, that'd have been enough to help people pay off their debts. That'll help people start some businesses. We really could have used that paper to really help the American people and bring the U.S. out of its struggle. and to help, you know, robust the economy and do all the great things that we wanted to do. But the problem is we got a select group of people who run this country who don't have the American people's interest. That's it. And so we're going to continue to see massive debt creation, but it's also opportunity for those who are getting assets.
I love these quotes from Thomas Jefferson. You know, I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. The issuing power of currency shall be taken from the banks and restored to the people to whom it properly belongs. You know, if the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency, first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks and corporations that will grow up around them will deprive the people of all property until their children wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered.
Yeah, and that's my favorite quote. My favorite quote by Thomas Jefferson. I talk about it all the time because it's so true. That's what's happening now. It happened in 2008 where people lost their homes. It happened when they lost half of their retirement accounts. It happened when they lost their jobs. And now we're seeing that magnitude is greater. Folks, in 2008, we were only $10 trillion in debt. We're now over $27 trillion in debt, and they're getting ready to add another 1.9 trillion. So you might as well say we're at $30 trillion in debt. Okay, totally unsustainable. It's just a matter of time. They can't continue on like this for too much longer, and the world not just, you know, get rid of the dollar totally. And you're seeing it like countries with the emerging countries, BRICS, you know, Russia and China, they're buying more gold than ever. They're looking at blockchain technology and crypto. They're de-dollarizing, okay? They're dumping bonds, okay? So the bonds are no longer really being looked at as a place for safety. The dollar is not being looked at as a place for safety. In the meantime, while this transition is taking place, there are opportunity to make some gains and some profits. So that's what you're seeing. People trying to squeeze out the last little bit that they can before that last hour, that last second, when that transition is really inevitable. And so we got to play the game too. We got to play the game to make sure that we're winning, that we're building wealth, creating a legacy, and taking advantage of this massive manipulation and money printing by taking that stimulus, taking those dollars, and acquiring as much physical assets, physical gold and silver, and acquiring cryptocurrency as much as you can right now.
So here's the end game. Future uncertainty will avert consumption, creating a deflation spiral. The Fed will pump cash into the system until people will start to expect higher prices, which will push people to spend money today instead of tomorrow. That is when hyperinflation comes from all the newly printed money that has been printed. When there's talk that central banks need to raise rates in order to reel in all the printed money, we will be close to a Weimar hyperinflation style endgame.
Yep, and they keep talking about it, folks. You see, they keep saying, well, the coronavirus, when the coronavirus and everybody's vaccinated, we're expecting an economic boom. They're saying that we're going to see 6% in the GDP because all that pent up demand, that the savings is up, and when people go back out, they'll be able to spend their money. No, they're prepping you, folks. They're psychologically prepping you for what the end game is, the outcome that they already know, but they want to create the narrative. They want to give you the narrative to believe what happened, what took place, and they all want to blame it on, once again, the coronavirus. And folks, it's not the coronavirus. It's been the problem that Thomas Jefferson just talked about in that quote that Mike just read to you. It's central banks. It's the banks and corporations that go up around them in this debt-based fiat monetary system. The power to print and the money needs to return to the people through Congress, where we can print our debt-free, interest-free notes. The Federal Reserve has failed at its mandate. We no longer need them. We need the ability to be able to take control of our own financial futures and not rely on a third-party private institution like the Federal Reserve, which is clearly not doing things in the people's interests.
And so, Ricardo, that's why we have the solution here.
Sound money.
Just got this in today.
Nice.
Wanted to make sure it all worked and no problems. The Sound Money wallet.
Yep.
And I don't have it all. I just wanted to take a little bit just to test it out, but it works.
What's in there, Mike? You could take one out and show them. So, folks, just so you know, this is why we get excited about this Sound Money wallet. The Sound Money wallet is 100% backed by Lloyd's of London. The vaults are, okay? The Sound Money wallet is 100% backed by physical gold and silver. And so Mike has some silver in his Sound Money wallet, and he placed a delivery request for it. Okay, and he got it within a week, right, Mike? About a week or so. Yep.
4 days.
Well, about 4 days he got it. Okay, that's fast. When I place a delivery request for my assets, I want them in about 4 days too. Okay, so you guys can see their money. That's real money right there, folks. That's physical in his hand. That's not a paper contract. That's not an ETF. That's not a certificate. That's from the Sound Money wallet, one of the best products that 7K has to offer, giving you the ability to buy gold and silver at the press of a button, sell it at the press of a button, move that cash to your account if you want to, or even send gold, silver, or cash from one person to the next, folks. So there it is, real money right there, physical silver. This is where we get excited. This is why we get excited, because we don't have to hope that the silver has value. We don't have to hope that the world accepts silver. No, there's a history, there's a track record, beautiful walking liberties, okay, pure silver, real money, okay, gold and silver I mentioned throughout the Bible hundreds of times, okay, throughout history, you see it's marked. Most wars have been fought over gold and silver and land, okay. These are real assets that we can get at this time, where there was a point in time that people couldn't even get the physical, okay. So this is why you want to take advantage of it now and get as much of it as you can. This is legacy. This is generational wealth. These are assets. This is why we say run with the runners, because that's what we do. We get rounds and bars, okay? We get rounds and bars.
And, you know, Ricardo, the key that I want to hit on that you said was debt-free. We are enslaved, guys. The fact that every time a dollar is created, it's done by debt. There's no other way around it. So all they're going to do is create more debt. And that's why we're getting out of the system. We're extracting our wealth as quick as we can for the most undervalued asset, the most needed metal there is to the human race is silver on every level. I don't care if we go to a zombie apocalypse. What did they need in The Walking Dead for bullets? Silver. What do you need for medical stuff? Silver. Electricity, conduction, you know, solar panels. It's everything. You have to have it. And if they want to keep playing their games, rigging the price, let them. Good. But get the physical in your possession. And Ricardo, this is just for some comedy tonight. We're going to bring on Jerome Powell.
And Stain, as somebody that I know would call him, say Yellow Stain, but go ahead.
You guys got to watch this. It's hilarious. I was cracking up this entire video. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says money printing doesn't lead to inflation. This is on Kitco News. Now, I don't want to play this video for copyright stuff, but you got to watch this. I mean, I was cracking up, and I just wanted to read some of the comments down here in YouTube, because that's where I first went, because I knew they would just be ripping him. Powell must now buy his own groceries.
Yeah, I love that one.
Why is there no canned laughter on this video like it's a sitcom? And like, that's what was going on in my head, Ricardo. As he's talking, I'm like laughing. I'm like, yeah. Is this a joke? Like, do they really think we believe them?
Right.
You know, he must think we're all stupid. Yeah, Jerome, sure. And Zimbabwe is the richest country in the world. Right. I don't believe a word he's saying. Simple as that. The head of the Wall Street criminals speaks disgusting lies. Really, really, printing money is the definition of inflating a currency. And that's the historical definition I've taught you guys, but they changed it to the inflation is now, according to the experts, a rise in prices versus just the money supply growing. You know, Fed is finally in a corner. There is no way out. He's a liar and he knows better. He evidently hasn't been in the grocery store lately or looked at housing prices. Money printing is inflation. CPI is a specific set of price measurements. When did Kitco start posting SNL skits?
Nice.
Oh, he says, that's why I wanted to play this, right? They ask him in the video, what is sound money? and he tries to convince you that the dollar is sound money because it holds its value. And the guy's like some congressman's like, what are you talking about? The dollar's gone down forever. But he claimed that people have confidence in the dollar, so therefore it's sound money. I mean, this is supposedly, the number one guy for America now, Jerome Powell, who he couldn't pass my economics class at this point, Ricardo.
What's scary is that, that's their ideology. I believe it's Keynesian, right? Keynesian economics, and Janet Yellen is now the Treasury, of the United States, and they're working in together. They're all in cahoots, and they believe that if they say something over and over enough, eventually you'll believe it. They say 9/11, 9/11, 9/11, weapons of mass destruction, weapons of mass destruction. Saddam, Iraq. They just say this stuff over and over, and that just gives them the right to do whatever they want to do. And the people are waking up. They say, no, that's not true. You're lying to us. You see it. We're not believing it. We don't believe you. And that's why they have a problem. They have a problem because the people are no longer, I think it was Henry, it wasn't Kissinger. It was Brzezinski. He said it's the big new Brzezinski. He said it was easier back in the day to kill 1 million people than it was easier to control 1 million people back in the day than to kill 1 million people. He said it's easier to kill 1 million people today than to control them. Yeah. Folks, they lost control. Hillary Clinton said it when she testified before Congress. We're losing the information war. They've lost their ability to control the people because of the internet and the freedom of information. And that's why you see channels like ours and other channels getting shut down and people getting censored on social media platforms and no longer letting certain people with messages. I saw something today, me and Mike, we talked about not today, a couple of days ago. What was it? The IMF said that your credit should be tied to your social media post or something. They want to control you, your thoughts, like it's 1984 Orwellian kind of thing, a thought police. They want to rate your credit score based off what you post. I mean, that's the type of society, the control, like they have in China with social credit scores and whatnot. That's what they want for this country, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The people are not going to allow it. We're waking up to the BS. That's right. And, we just going to continue to share this message and keep being lights of truth during these times of darkness.
Yeah, and the term you'll hear a lot too is MMT, modern monetary theory, and it's basically just print all the money you want. That's basically what it comes down to. Yeah. Yeah, and guys, so we don't want to have a negative message here. We're just bringing you the truth, but there is a better way. There is a way where we win. There's a way where you can position your family right now to start securing your wealth and your legacy. Now, we do lots of different, revenue streams and income stuff, but, we love 7K metals. So if you don't have a home-based business, if you're not automating the process of being wealthy, if you're not diversifying into multiple different asset classes in gold and silver, if you're not, helping a community grow and profiting from each other's, benefits, you're missing out in 2021. You're choosing to be poor, to stay poor, to keep struggling. We want better for you. That's what the runners are about, are just like-minded people that are going to keep moving and changing the world and helping people on every level. So Ricardo, any last words before I bring up the new merch?
Yeah, definitely. No, it's like you said, Mike, this is why we get excited, folks. Cash flow is king. Okay. We show assets. Yes, you need assets, but if you don't have cash flow, it's just a matter of time before you liquidate those assets. You have to have cash flow. You can't rely on one stream of income. You're a disaster waiting to happen. You have to have residual and passive income, and 7K Metals is the best place to do it, honestly, in my opinion, because we have a home-based business, okay, reducing your tax exposure, creating a residual income that will outlive you and pay your loved ones long after you're gone, acquiring assets, okay, and being able to create real wealth in physical assets, right? Real wealth, legacy. This is what it's about. And so it's very simple. I mean, 7K Metals is not really a complicated business. If you can get people to grasp the concept of first starting a business, which costs $4.99, okay, by getting that membership, and then your overhead, you can look at it, or your expense is really just you saving your money, saving $105, $139 a month, and getting an asset delivered to your home every single month, and finding two people, okay, and helping those two people find two people grasp that same concept of starting a business for $4.99, get on an autosaver for $105 and $139, and as that continues to duplicate, that is creating residual income. That is acquiring assets. That is putting you in position to reduce your tax exposure, because folks, they're going to continue to print paper. We just saw that they're pushing through the 1.9 trillion. Well, the taxes are coming. Somebody's got to pay for that. So like Mike said, we got the solution. You get a 7K membership, okay, $4.99 membership. One time you pay that for the year. You got a home-based business, reducing your tax exposure, acquiring assets, creating residual income, and all you have to do is save $139 a month. Save $139 a month, okay? You're going to get an asset in the mail, all right? A numismatic coin, right? An asset in the mail, all right? And you find others who can do that. And throughout that process, you're creating residual income, you're acquiring assets, and putting yourself in position to reduce your tax exposure.
Next level stuff. The company just keeps getting better and better. Absolutely love them. Website is amazing. Super simple to sign up. So get back with the person that sent you this video, or if you're watching it, get with them. Contact Ricardo or myself. And we have a little update on the website, therunners.shop. Therunners.shop. If you're serious about stacking wealth, I got turned Ricardo into my model here. We got him repping the t-shirt now on the website. So now it's a little easier to find out what you want. We got the champion hoodies, the t-shirts, the mugs that I've been sipping out of tonight. And we are working. We got, the Runners Weekly schedule here with our mom as well on the website. We are working on getting 3X and 4X shirts in. I've had a couple people. Yep. I've had a couple people reach out to me. So we will be looking at getting those, and we're going to be having some new merch soon. So if you guys like these, I believe, of course, Ricardo, If You Don't Come From a Wealthy Family is our #1 bestseller, I think.
Awesome.
And I don't know how long this shirt will be available. So if you do like these, make sure you get them, because we plan on, updating this a lot and getting out new designs for people.
Yeah, that's fine. I love it. If you didn't come from a wealthy family, make sure a wealthy family comes from you. Hey, if you didn't go to Cancun, make sure you're in Salt Lake City in May, folks. The Runners is going to be there, fired up and excited, getting these assets, connecting with the owners, and building up this wealth and this family and this connection, man. If you miss Cancun, don't miss Salt Lake City. Major news coming out. Major news coming out for 7K family. You guys are going to love it. Coming out in May. They're doing some next level stuff, folks. So definitely go ahead and get your merch, and I hope to see y'all in Salt Lake City.
All right. Without a doubt, guys, that is it. They're going to keep creating debt. We know this. The question is how are you going to position yourself and your family to profit from it during this time? We think we have a better way, and we would love for you to run with us. So we will see you guys tomorrow night at 9:30 Eastern Standard. We will be bringing more knowledge and trying to help change the world one family at a time. All right. You guys have a great night. We'll talk to you soon.